Okay, this is part 3 of my testimony. Today's date is November the 29th, 2023. It is still a Wednesday. It's about 5:14 p.m. And I'm going to continue on for part 3. So, where I left off was November 22nd, 2018. It was Thanksgiving. I made Thanksgiving dinner for me and Jesus. I was alone. And I didn't mention this in my last video, but that morning around 10, I was told by the Lord to donate $100 to Jennifer LeClaire Ministry. And when I did, I only had $250 in my bank account. So I donated the 100 right away. And about an hour, I got a call from my sister. My sister said, you shouldn't be alone. She called up a friend that was down the street, and they invited me to their house. My friend Laura said they were playing poker, so to bring $20. So I asked the Lord, I just been reborn again. Is gambling okay? And he said, play with love. Do you remember when your grandma used to win at bingo? And I said, yes. She always took me with her. That's why she won. Everything that she did, she took me with her, the Lord said. And for me to play with love. So I did. I took $20. I went over there. I played Texas Hold'em after we ate awesome Thanksgiving. And my friend Laura, if she gets on this message, a shout out to Laura. She became my editor on Online Now. I had just finished on November the 18th writing Online Now, and I needed an editor. And the Lord said to play with love. And when she invited me over, she started talking about how she loves to read, and it takes her about a day to read a book about this size. And I said, well, if it takes her about a day to read a book about that size, it takes me about a year. Well, just joking, but I'm a slow reader, a fast writer, but slow reader. I said, well, maybe she's a good editor. She's got to be pretty smart. And I asked her, and she said she would love to do the job. So she became my editor. It took us 2 weeks. She had never done that before, but she was awesome. Awesome editor. She caught so many things. She really helped me out. So shout out to Laura Goodner. So I played with love Texas Hold'em. And off of $20 and probably about 6, 7, 8 people, the money kept going back and forth. A little bit over here, a little bit over here. And the whole time, for 5 hours on $20, I played with love. And I had built poker chips, stacks and stacks. I had became first place. And towards the end of the night, and Laura's husband, I went to high school with, so I knew him quite well, Grant. And his mother, it was his mother's house. And by the end of the night, she said, Grant, I'm getting a headache. Let's call it quit. It was around 12 midnight. Maybe it was 11:45. She goes, I'm getting a headache. And then she mentions it just like this. She goes, you just can't beat love. And I looked at her. She's sitting next to me. And I didn't say anything right away. I didn't want to disturb anything. I just took it in and I thought, wow. At a poker game, I've never heard that before. You just can't beat love. That was God speaking through her, whether she knew it or not. I knew it. So at the end of the night, everybody said, wow, you just took everybody's money for the first time, because that never happened before. Usually they take my money. And I don't want to go home too early, so I end up buying back in. But I took everybody's money that night. And I didn't have to say anything. When it happened, everybody else talked about it, and everybody went back and told my family, your sister just took everybody's money in the game. So I didn't mention it to my brother, but the next day my brother mentioned it. But back at the house, after the poker game, Laura and I started to talk about the book. And I had told her, you know, when God told me to come over here, I said, you're never going to believe this, but I had given a minister a ministry $100, and then you called, and then, you know, some of the things that's happened in my life. I said, when God said, you know, come over here and play Texas Hold'em to play with love, I said, and then Grant's mother said that you just can't beat love. I knew right away that was God beginning to work in that house, and that was a huge testimony. Well, Laura, basically Grant's wife, pretty much dedicated her life to the Lord. Thereafter, the Spirit of the Lord on me transferred to her, and she became enthused, so much so that she bought so many Bibles, and maybe she had, or maybe she hadn't read the Bible like she started to read, but she was also searching other ways, you know, crystals and spirituality stuff and different things like that, angel numbers and things like the New Age. But they didn't really see my transformation because it happened so quick, and I kind of was not around a lot of people, and I was kind of pushed away from my own family, so I kind of secluded myself, isolated myself. But Laura became a believer. She heard my testimony, and right away she wanted to part what I had. So I asked her if she would become my editor, and she said yes. And I said, how much do you want? She goes, I'll do it for free. I've never edited, but I want to work with you. I said, really? She said, yes. So that was God. I said, well, if it ever makes it big, I'll give you some credit for it. You know, whether it does or not, I think that was a very awesome experience that we shared together. That was 2 weeks that we spent in her house, and we edited. She took the downstairs, I took the upstairs, and we kind of worked together. And it was a process that both of us had never done before, editing a book. And I think that it encouraged her, inspired her to possibly write a book. But it also encouraged her to start reading the Bible. And she became a devout Christian. I mean, so much so that I think it annoys her husband now. But that's another testimony. But anyways, so I come back that night, and the Jennifer LeClaire that I had given the $100 to, I heard the Lord say back at my house when I got home. And also, when I left, I started getting this fire in my palm. Like, it was burning. And I never had that before. So my palm was burning right here and here, my right palm. And so when I got home, it was midnight, and I heard the Lord say, look at Jennifer LeClaire, the one that you gave $100 to. So I did. And she made a post to a Kim Clement. And I didn't know who he was. But when I saw the video that she made of him, or posted of him, I didn't know it was a tribute in honor of his passing 2 years prior. But I clicked on it, and I started saying, who is this? This is awesome. So it was Jennifer LeClaire, Thanksgiving night, but it was also the day that he passed away. It became the 23rd, November the 23rd, 2018. So she made tribute to him, but I didn't pick up on that right away. But I watched the video, and from that point on is when I fell in love with Kim Clement's ministry. Not only was he a prophet, I never knew what a prophet was. I didn't. Even though I was prophesying, I just didn't know what it was, or I didn't know what I was doing. But I started watching Kim Clement, and I fell in love with his ministry, the House of Destiny. And so I started watching lots of videos of his the next day. And everything I could possibly learn about him, because I knew inside that was me. And I didn't even know that he was South African. I thought he was like British. I didn't pick up on I just knew he had a different accent. But come to find out, he lived not far away from me in Dallas. And interesting, when I fell down off of a bike accident and broke my right wrist, a year later, he fell off of something, a scooter or a skateboard or something, and he broke both of his wrists. So it's interesting that we were here. We never met, crossed paths while he was alive, but he lived very close to me. And I think it was amazing how he was from South Africa and the Lord called him to the United States and he came to Dallas. And that's where he started. And I don't know how long he was here for, but come to find out, I found one prophecy in 2018 at the end, towards the end. It was the Esther prophecy, and the Lord was already working with me with the oil. By 2019, May, well, there were some other events too. At the end of November, I'll back up. November the 8th, November the 9th, Lady Gaga made a post on her Facebook saying, if there is a God, please pray for my houses. There was a Malibu fire. And that really touched my heart because of the horses and the houses. And I had an episode, an encounter on Facebook with her in 2012. I won't get into detail about that right now. But I didn't really pay attention too much, but I did pay attention occasionally. And I had seen a Facebook, it was a live, I think it was live, so I clicked on and I saw her just in stress, very stressed. And she said, if there's a God, please pray for my house and my horses. The fire is about to consume everything. I forget the exact words. But when I saw her, she had like 10 Domino's pizzas delivering and donating to the firemen out there. And I had worked at Domino's back in the day. And when I saw that, I said, okay, this touches my heart, and I know that there is a God. So I began to pray, and I started prophesying right then and there. I said, Lord, for what they did not show to me, take my tears, my pain, my sorrow, and drown out that smoke, and cause it to rain or something, and stop the, I forgot how I said it, but the fire in Malibu, the Woolsey fire, November 9th, or the 8th, November the 9th, 2018, stopped at her fence line. That's what I was told. And then the Lord told me to write a song, 8-minute song called Fence Line of Faith, because of the faith that I carried, and prophesying, and it happening. And he caused it to stop. So, and then November the 30th, 3 weeks later, another thing happened. I was feeling pretty happy because I had finally hit my 140 for the second time. I hit it towards my birthday, 140 pounds, and I hadn't been 140 pounds since high school. And I remember the Lord saying, when you hit 140, your soulmate will be with you. Well, I hit it back at my birthday around August 10th. I just didn't really tell anybody, but I have every reason to believe that my soulmate, since nobody in the physical was with me, it's Jesus. And then, of course, whoever else he puts in my life to help is a helper, but my soulmate, my true love, just as everybody's true love should be, but my true love that's with me, that helps me, is Jesus. It's him that does everything. I just pray and he does it. So, November 30th, I woke up again for the second time. I had gained, with eating some cake and stuff, and my birthday. I had gained some 5 or 10 pounds, so I got back down to 140 at 3 weeks later. And when I did, I felt pretty good that morning, and I was feeling excited. And by the midday, end of the night, suddenly a 7.0 earthquake happened in Alaska. And then George Bush Sr. died. Two things. And those two events, when that happened, suddenly there was a rage inside of me. And I knew it was not mine because I had been feeling great all day. But the rage inside of me, I knew it was not mine. But remember, my soulmate was with me. And I couldn't explain it back then. But suddenly inside, I said, I feel like hell. And when I said that, suddenly hell came out of the sky. Now, it was not storming all day. It was a clear sky. And it held. And it held so much that people on Facebook made posts about it. Where did this hell come from? That was November the 30th, 2018. The same day that Bush died, the senior Bush, and the same day that 7.0 Alaskan earthquake happened. So I'll finish more this is part 3. I'll make a part 4 after this. Stay tuned for my testimony. I'm Shyla. My online now book name is Coppershy. You can find it on Amazon. Online now, Coppershy. Also, Connected by Angels, Coppershy. 2 books I've